All right, today we're tackling something pretty radical. The idea that the real key to intelligence isn't about learning more, but about getting good at unlearning. We're going to dive into what's called the recursive unlearning architecture.
So let's just jump right in with a question that honestly feels a little backward. What if everything we've been told our whole lives, that accumulating knowledge is the secret to success, is actually starting to hold us back?
To really get why, we've got to talk about something called the full bucket problem. This is the old school model of learning most of us grew up with, and well, it's starting to show some serious cracks.
You've probably heard this a million times, right? The idea that your brain is just this empty bucket, and school, or education, is all about pouring in facts. The fuller your bucket, the smarter you are. Simple.
But here's where it gets tricky. In the world we live in now, where things change at lightning speed, that full bucket, it can start to weigh you down. Old knowledge can get in the way, making it harder to see and accept new, better information. Your expertise can actually become a kind of cage.
And this slide, it just lays it all out, doesn't it? We're shifting from a world that was all about accumulation, just how much stuff you know, to a world that's all about plasticity. How fast can you adapt? How quickly can you rewire your own thinking? It's not just about filling the bucket anymore. It's about being able to rewire your own brain on the fly.
Okay, so that leads us to the solution, what's being called the unlearning revolution. And it's a total rethink of what it even means to be smart in this century. So here's the absolute core of it. Forget IQ scores, forget how many books are on your shelf. The real measure of intelligence now, it's how fast you can realize an old idea is busted and just let it go. It's not about what you learn, it's about how quickly you can unlearn.
And this has a name. It was developed by a researcher named Albert Ton, who calls it the Recursive Unlearning Architecture, or RUA for short. And this isn't just some clever phrase, it's a whole framework, a system designed to train our minds for flexibility, pushing that old idea of just retaining facts into the background.
Okay, so how does this thing actually work? What's under the hood? Let's break down the mechanics of the RTRUA framework.
First up, we have something called time to abandon, or TTA. This is a real metric you can think about. How much time does it take for you to ditch an old way of thinking when you're hit with new, solid evidence? You can think of it like a workout for your brain's flexibility. You can even try it. Find one article today that argues against a really strong opinion you have. The point isn't even to change your mind, but just to see what it feels like to consider the other side without putting up a fight.
And that, leads us right to the psychological part of this. What makes that fast time to abandon even possible? It's called epistemic modesty. This is basically the practice of not tying your identity up with your ideas. There's a really powerful little trick you can use here. Instead of saying, I am right, try phrasing it as, my current hypothesis is. See? It creates a little space. That way, if your idea turns out to be wrong, it's not you that's wrong, it's just a successful update to your thinking.
Now, I know this might all sound a bit philosophical, but it's actually built on a really solid mathematical foundation. The engine that really drives this whole RUA framework is a principle called Bayesian updating. It's basically just a simple loop that keeps going. Like, let's say you believe your favorite coffee shop has the absolute best latte in town. That's your prior belief. Then, one day you try a new spot and whoa, it's incredible. That's the new evidence. So you update your belief, your new prior. The RUA framework is all about making our brains do this constantly, always tweaking our view of the world based on what's new.
So why bother with all this? Is it just some kind of mental gymnastics? No, this is actually about future-proofing your mind. It's about survival in a future that's coming at us fast.
And that really brings us to the big question, the million-dollar question, really. What's really at stake here? Why is getting good at unlearning not just a nice skill to have, but maybe the most important skill you can build?
Well, because according to Tan, this is the only way of thinking that can actually withstand the sheer force of something like the technological singularity. That theoretical point in the future where technology grows so fast, it changes everything about human life in ways we can't even predict.
I mean, just try to wrap your head around that. A future where all of human knowledge doubles. Not every year, not every day, but every single second.
In that world, trying to just hold on to facts becomes totally 100% useless. That whole bucket model just shatters. There's no point trying to hold on to water in a tidal wave.
But in that exact same world, the skill, the ability to adapt, to pivot, to unlearn and relearn on the fly, that becomes priceless. It's infinitely valuable. Flexibility is the only thing that scales.
And that, right there, brings us completely full circle. This whole thing, it really just boils down to one powerful shift in how we see things, moving away from the old goal of accumulation and embracing the much more dynamic practice of plasticity.
So I'll leave you with this. This isn't just some abstract theory, right? It's a real challenge. So as you go on with your day, just ask yourself this one thing. What's a big idea, a long-held belief in my own bucket that I might be ready to unlearn?